Thank you. Bingo. All calls are being recorded, guys, for quality training and training purposes and marketing. If you do not consent, you must leave the meeting now. We'll catch you later. No hard feelings.
Say it
So
one more time.
a couple of people been put out. Hey, I'm sorry, guys. If you're not working, you got to go. This is I put this together for people to close on deals, not to just come over here and be BSing around. So if you're not participating, you will be put out. I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. Now back to the money. So let me see. We got a chat. Let's see. Man, your agreements are very important. Very, very important. Read every single agreement inside of your course. And we got all the documents inside. Let me pull it up. I'm gonna share my screen. Man, read over your paperwork. It's so important, man. I'm telling you. That's what counts. If you ever have to go to court, that's what's gonna stand the test of time. Your freaking paperwork. They dead serious about paperwork in this country. Where's the screen? So I'm telling you, man, know your paperwork. Do not play with it. Uh-oh, how do I move this? Boom. Okay. Move this to the bottom. All righty. So we went through systems. I think we went through systems week 2. You got any questions? Any question y'all have while we're in this class, please email Trish at info at mrtransactionengineer.com. Any questions? She can get to you quicker than me. That's why I hired her. That's her job. So any questions, please submit it to her, and she will get back usually within 24 to 48 hours. List building. We went through list building, building a list through the county, skip tracing with Lee Sherper. We show you how to go in Lee Sherper. This is one of our favorite skip trace companies that got a good high percentage. Man, we get about I feel like about 70% of the numbers on here is correct. Now we also got being verified. It's $30 a month, I think, or 20, in case Lee Sherper don't have the number, or in case Lee Sherper number is wrong, we want to dive deeper. So we got Lee Sherper. We got being verified also, and we use Lee Sherper. We use Lee Sherper when we skip tracing an entire list, a big list. That's what that's good for. But it will skip trace up to 10. You got to have at least 10 to get it to skip trace. Now you got plenty skip trace services out here, but you want the ones with the most accurate numbers. And I'm gonna tell you now, um, what's the name of them people? Prop Stream and Prop Wire, they skip trace services suck. Suck big time. I give it like a 20 to 30%. Man, they suck. We went over marketing strategies. We got to go over KPIs. Inside the course, we go to text message marketing, the ringless voice messages, email marketing, mailing strategies, follow up, follow up, follow up, guys. 80% of the deals come from the follow up. Follow up. Don't get mad because somebody not ready today. Fine. Build report. Some people take a minute for you to warm up to you. It's okay. Make sure you follow them up, because when they're ready to sell, guess what? You're gonna be the first one on the list. Pre-screen your sellers, analyzing your deals, how to determine the market value, how to check the value on Q Public. Now, Q Public, like we discussed last week, It's not everywhere, so that varies. How to fill out your agreements, seller contract and agreements. Let me go down to all the agreements. Title search. We'll get into the title search. How to send your agreements out electronically. So instead of having to wait on somebody to sign the document physically and send it back, you can send it out by Adobe Signature, DocuSign. There's several services, man. When I first got started in this, man, it was, dang, it been a long time ago. Man, I wish I would have thought of that. Dang. Man, we was using fax machines. My first deal was done on a fax machine, and my mentor closed it right in front of me on stage. So that was mind-boggling. I had to keep going after that. I got a layup. I just slammed it. He threw it to me. I slam dunk. Locating cash buyers on PropStream. Pre-screening your buyers with the buyer scripts. We got your buyer scripts. You want to pre-screen your buyers, y'all. We may go through this. You got to pre-screen your buyers because a lot of them be bull crapping around. But I say you have about, if you get 10 calls, maybe about 1 or 2 people may be serious. Lease purchase agreement. Remember, we buy on terms. If we buy it on terms with owner financing and seller financing, we're going to lease it out. So we'll go through the lease agreement next week. Assignment of contract, double closing, agreements inside. How to fill out the assignment of contract when you're selling. Yeah, we're going to go through the assignment. So say, for example, you get a property under contract, right? For $20,000, you got a $10,000 place. Somebody want to give you $30,000 for it. Then you'll do an assignment. See, this is why I think wholesaling got a bad rep. Because I don't know who been teaching this stuff, man. You got so many teachers now, man. But a lot of people just violated the game when it came to wholesaling, man. It's ridiculous when it comes to wholesaling. I was taught if you're making 8 to 10 grand, do an assignment. Anything over that, just bite the closing cost and do a double closing. Especially if you're gonna make a freaking assignment fee that's bigger than the doggone seller. Do a freaking double closing. It's gonna cost you one set of closing costs. Because when you're buying it with your seller, you're paying the closing costs. When you sell it on the back end on a double closing, then your end buyer will pay for it. So let me give you a perfect example because some people are new. So if you do an assignment, you'll fill out an agreement. Let me see. We can see it on you. You'll fill out an agreement. I have to go to the bottom. I got all the agreements in the bottom. But you'll fill out an agreement, right? Saying, I, Eddie, will assign this contract to Benny for $10,000. Benny sign it, I sign it. So you're going to take on the same terms. Benny's going to take on the same terms I have with the seller. That I'm going to buy it for $20,000 and I'm going to pay the closing costs. I sign that same contract to Benny. Now Benny got to abide by those terms and those rules in the agreement I signed. And you want to send Benny over a copy of the contract also once he signed on the assignment. Now, if you're going to do a double closing, I will be buying it from Luke, from Jonathan. I'll be buying it from Jonathan, right? I will close with Jonathan on the same day. I'm using Benny, my end buyer. He's going to give me, let's say I'm going to make $20,000 on this deal. So he's going to give me $40,000 for the house. I'm getting Jonathan 20, right? I'm getting Jonathan 20. And I'm giving, and Benny's going to buy it for 40. I'm the middleman. I'm going to make 20. So now your attorney will set it up. Usually, now it varies on the attorney, but my attorney like to close first with Benny. So I close first with Benny because Benny got the cash at, just say 9 o'clock. At 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, I close with Jonathan. Everybody's happy. Everybody walk away. Benny has the land. John has his 20,000. I have my 20,000. Benny can't. Let me see. Will Benny see? Well, Jonathan definitely won't see what I made. He won't. He don't know that I made 20,000 on the back end. He don't. He's not aware of that. All he knows is he got his 20,000 and he's out of the deal. Out the deal. Everybody's happy. So that's a double closing. Assignment. Everybody see the fee. Everybody know what's going on. So that's why I say it's messed up, guys. Because some people just say Jonathan made 20,000. But Jonathan, see, I just made a fee of 50,000 off his land. He's gonna feel played. Man, how would you feel? I'm gonna ask your honest opinion, John. If you just sold your land, made 20,000, and the wholesaler made 50, and he didn't even tell you he was gonna sell it that quick.
I don't know how I will feel because I really wanted my 20, but I know most people may have a bone to pick about that.
Yeah, some people won't be happy, man. They be like, damn,
I I,
he
I
told
do
me it
want.
was only worth 20. How the hell it went up in value that quick?
Do y'all do blind hoods out there in Georgia?
Sometimes they will do it. It depends on the attorney.
Because out here, I always have. I deal with people that typically only do blind hoods. So you may want to explain that one if you want to. So that way they can kind of understand that one.
Yeah, blind HUD guys are just basically you they just it won't be no fees, no numbers like that on it. They won't see nobody will see your fee.
The seller won't see the fee on the blind hood
Right.
unless the real estate attorney or the underwriters do blind hood for both sides. But typically it's only for the seller side, so the seller won't see, so they won't throw off your deal.
Thank you for that. All right, so we went now when you go in your course, guys, scroll all the way to the bottom where it say closing documents, seller contracts. You got the sellers and buyer's contract. We need to correct that. We're gonna go through this briefly, real fast. We'll go through this fast, y'all. And I'm gonna let Lashada come in and just give y'all, if any of you guys are working out of town, I know Jonathan is working out of town on deals, and Benny is working out of town on deals. I think Sharice also. She's working out of town on deals. Hmm. Okay. Did we go over this? Is this the one we went over last week? By
Yeah, we went through that agreement last week.
no. We went over that other one. Let me see.
Roll all the way up because it was the one that we were working on, one of the deals that you and I were working on. Yeah, see, yeah, that's it. Yeah, we went over this yeah, because you have to delete some stuff. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, but I don't see the when we added
The verbiage, the
the
MLS.
verbiage. So this the B to C. So this the B to C. We went over the A to B last week. Where we had the marketing terms in there. We had the some other stuff we added. But we're gonna go through this one really quick and let Lashada come in and just brief y'all on how she's been doing with the land in the land business out of town. All right, so as always, come here, change the date. Put your company name or your trust name. We like to use either or, company or the trust. Come in here just like the other agreement. You want to change out the county and all that good stuff. Come in, change out the address, purchase price. You paying cash or you paying cash at closing. If you're doing a double closing or an assignment, you usually are looking for a cash buyer. Now, if you discuss some owner financing and stuff, then this way you will come in and fill this out. So this won't be NA. You will check here and uncheck this, and you will come in and fill all this good stuff out. You know how much you're gonna pay per month, if you're gonna pay an interest rate. Um, Principal, I would check this principal only payments. We love principal only payments. We always go with principal only payments if we're doing the seller financing with the seller, because that way we can pay it off quicker. Now you got some sellers that are a little, they know a little something. They may say, "No, buddy, we want about 4 or 5% interest here." Then you have to change it right here. And any agreements you need help with, make sure you email us, info@mrtransactionengineer.com. Email us and we'll look it over for you. So no excuses, guys. All right. Now we come down here to the due diligence. This is very important. You want as long as possible on your contracts. But for this seller here, it seems like a sweet deal. We typically put like 45 days plus 30. Let me make sure this in here. Okay, bingo. All right. So we put 45 days. Why? For the necessary inspections, studies, surveys, environmental assessment, zoning verification, soil testing. All this stuff got to be done, y'all. When a person is getting ready to build on the property or do something with the property, all this stuff got to get done unless your seller has the agreement. I mean, has some of this stuff done. Like sometimes you may catch a seller that has the soil testing done. You may catch a seller that has the surveys done. Now we don't pay for none of this stuff. Well, it depends. We're gonna get into that too in a couple of weeks. When you go to, if you want to really cash out, you got a couple of acres of land, some of this stuff you may want to pay for up front. It's a little money up front, but if you could subdivide it and then get it everything signed off by the city, that lot becomes a lot more valuable. Now you done all the homework. And now instead of selling one piece of land, you got 6 pieces of parcels, 6 different pieces. So we'll get into that, but not today. It'll probably take about probably just 2 or 3 weeks to go through that stuff. But it's a difference though. There's a difference in that check. But if you're just wholesaling it, right? And you still make some good money, right? You don't pay for any of this stuff. Your end buyer will pay for this once they buy the property. Some of them may want to pay for this stuff before. The soil testing, that's if the land is on, if it's not on city water and sewer, then it has to be on a septic tank. So every lot doesn't qualify for a septic tank. So man, that's stuff that people have to do. That's part of the due diligence process. So typically you want about 45 to 60 days. I like to put 60. Because land, depending on where it at, man, sometimes it may take a minute to sell. But when you put it out there for owner financing or seller financing. I'm sorry, hold on. Yeah. Put it out there for that. We'll buy on seller financing and sell on seller financing, but they got to be putting about 50% down. We're getting in like, let's say a $20,000 piece of land. We usually do this with no money down. And then we'll start making payments in 30 days. How does that sound? We usually do these type of deals with no money down. We'll start our first payment within 30 to 60 days. Now how does that sound? I keep it simple, y'all. There's no magic trick. I'm not on this phone and talking them to death, all this stuff. I keep it very simple. And that's how I was trained to keep it simple, and that's how I continue to do it. You got to get out here and say all type of big fancy words and stuff. Get real bougie. This land, man.
Hey, Eddie, I did get everybody the checklist as well. A couple of meetings ago of the questions and stuff to ask concerning land as well.
Yeah, that was very valuable. Do anybody need a
If
copy of
anybody
that?
didn't get it, let me know. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, man, that was very valuable. Thank you for that. Let's see. Buyers. Okay, if buyer and buyer sole discretion determine that the property is not suitable for any reason, buyer may terminate this agreement by providing written notice to seller or text messages before the expiration of the due diligence period. In such event, buyer shall be entitled to a full refund of any earnest money deposit, and neither party shall have any further obligation to the other. If the buyer fails to terminate this agreement before the expiration of the due diligence period, buyer shall be deemed to have waived the contingency and the agreement shall proceed to closing. So you got a way out. If you see that the lot won't work, you out of the deal. The earnest money shouldn't be no more than about 10 to $100. Now, if you know you got a slam dunk deal, you may want to put a little more earnest money down. But I do 10 to $100 the majority of the time. The majority of the time. Unless I know it's a slam dunk deal, and I sweeten up the pot a little bit. That's 60 days. Then come down here and change out the attorney office. The attorney is very important. Guys, make sure you got an investor friendly attorney. Find the attorney before you even start doing deals in that area. Because you want to be ready. As soon as you get a property under contract, the next thing you want to do is a title search to check for any liens and judgments against the property. You got to do that. That's the second step. Once you get it under contract, the next step is to have a title search done. The attorney office normally will do it for free. Some may charge you up front $200 to $300, but 90% of them don't charge you nothing. Now, if you keep going back and you're not closing, after about 2 to 3 of them, they may start charging you. But send your agreement in to the attorney office, tell them to run a title search. It's going to check for any liens of judgment. They may have a lien on the property for, just say the land worth 50,000, right? The seller don't owe anything on it, but they got a lien against the property for 100,000. Well, that deal, but that's a bad deal if you can't get that $100,000 deal lien on. So that may be a bad deal for you, unless you could short sell it and get that 100,000 down. Now look on this agreement. Buyers will pay all the closing costs. Buyers. Your end buyer will pay all the closing costs associated. And you will use this agreement when you're doing a double closing. You're doing a double closing. So it'll be your seller name, your buyer name, and the seller name at top. I'm sorry. It'll be you the seller, and it'll be your buyer name. Both of your names will be on the agreement. So I have a contract from me and Jonathan, the A to B, and then the B to C is from me to Benny. Benny the buyer. And that's it, man. Come down here. What do I hold on? I missed something. Okay, boom. So remember, we got 60 days right here for due diligence. You come down here. You come down here and look what we have. The closing would take place 30 days after the due diligence. 30 days. So how many days do we have all together, Tasha? How many days we have all together on this agreement? We got 60 right here.
90.
And we got 30 right here. 90 days, baby. So you got 90 days. Hold on. Shit. No. This is the buy agreement. I'm slipping. No, we don't get them no 90 days. Yeah, this is mixed up. Hold on, let me correct this. I'm slipping. I'll
Everybody,
fix this, y'all.
check the chat, everybody. I put a nationwide title company in the chat, so I'm just dropping some resources in the chat too, just in case you all may need that resource.
Thank
I'm kind of way these agreements got mixed up, y'all. No, we buy with 90 days. We sell, guys. You got 30 days. Damn, how these get mixed up. Glad I caught that, man. So we give you 15 days due diligence. I will update the correct one, y'all. But let me correct this right now. You got 15 days due diligence and about 15 days to close. Let's say A to B though. Hold on, man. Hold on, y'all. Let me get this right. It's the wrong freaking agreement.
I'm sorry, Eddie. I was hitting on Luffy's stuff, so I'm sorry. I did hear you call my name though.
No problem. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. I had the wrong agreement up. I'm tripping. Yeah, this is the right one. All right. Yeah, so okay, on the back end, earnest money, you want as much as possible. I'll say 1,000 to 2,000. This guy put down 1,000. Look right here. Earnest money is non-refundable if buyer does not buy. If the seller cannot produce a clear title, the earnest money will be refunded. Same stuff come in, change this out. Buyers will pay all the closing costs. Same little verbiage. That's it. Buyer purchasing property as is, all cash, no contingencies. That means you paying all cash. I ain't got time for your drama. No contingencies. Let's go. And that's it, man. The buy agreement pretty simple. Yeah. Oh God, I'm glad I caught that. Yeah. So when we remember when we dealing with a seller, it's gonna be 10 to $100. Earnest money to make the contract legal and binding. But we do not buy like we sell. So when we sell them, we want 1,000 or better, non-refundable. Non-refundable. Your due diligence period is 5 days. Closing will be held within 10 days after the due diligence period expires. Damn, boy, he got a short one on this one. I remember this one too. He was ready though. This is one of my guys. He was ready. So let's say we typically do 30 days and all. But he wanted to close fast. Any questions about this agreement, y'all? It's very simple. Lashada, how you doing? Let's see what shit.
What's up? How you doing?
What's up, fam? What you got going on?
Tapping in, tapping in.
Thank you for tapping in with us. Man, you've been with us how long? A long time.
Probably about 6 years or something like that.
Got some OGs on here with me, man. Thank y'all, man. I love y'all. Thank you for staying right with your boy all these years.
Riding with your boy.
Wow. Who else on here? Tasha? I've been knowing Tasha forever. Loopy, man. Sharice. Got some OGs on her. Greg, a long time too. Wow. Thank y'all so much. So tell us who you are and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, my name is LaShonda. I've been doing real estate now since 18, I think. I had a full-time job for 28 years. I fired my boss like what, 2 years ago? 3 years ago. And so I've been,
Drive them forklifts like me.
oh my goodness. Yeah, for sure. So,
Did you think you can leave? Were you scared when you left your job?
no, because I had already prepared myself. I've been preparing myself for some years. So,
What made you step out there like that? Most people too scared. This is my job. I gotta have it. I can't
uh,
leave.
I just walked out on faith, just got tired and just felt like, I mean, the only way I'm gonna succeed is I just got to take the risk. That's
Right.
part of being an entrepreneur. So I just took the risk, took the chance.
Bet
I'm
on
not in a
yourself.
situation like a lot of other people. I don't have any children and a whole family that's dependent on me, so that makes a difference.
Heck
A lot
yeah.
of people have kids and, the whole situation going on. So my situation is not a normal, common situation. So, I mean, for someone that's thinking about doing that, I would most definitely say have your ducks in a row before you step out. Because once you step out here, that's it. Ain't nobody gonna waking you up and doing
Yeah.
nothing. You
You can
doing
say that
everything.
again.
Right. If you don't get up and get it, it ain't happening. If you don't get up and get money, it ain't none coming.
Nope.
So when you used to getting a paycheck every week or every 2 weeks or however you get paid, that's something to consider if you have a lot going on, if you have a lot of people that's depending on you, if you have a lot of kids or whatever. Yeah, so I can see, how somebody could take that risk and be scared or whatever. But hey, I mean, the only way you're gonna know is you got to do it. So
Yeah.
me personally, I just feel like implement the plan, put the plan in motion, and implement it and stick to it.
Yep. You got to stick to it. You got to
Yeah.
go hard. So we're not telling you to leave your job, especially you got responsibilities,
Right.
but you got to go harder than before because you got responsibilities. But the only way your life gonna change, you got to be the one changing. Nobody's gonna come change it for you. No magic genie coming out the bottle.
Right.
None of that stuff.
So yeah, I fired my boss, I think 3 years, I don't even 3 years ago. That's how past that I am. I focus on my business. I'm not even like once I fire my boss, I haven't even looked back at all. Don't even think about it. I don't regret it, none of that. So fast forward, I've been doing land and houses, and so that's been my bread and butter. That's what's keeping me afloat. Mostly land. Here in Kansas, I'm in the Kansas City area. Here in Kansas City, we are in a non-disclosure state. I do not have a real estate license, so for me, the
What's that?
easiest, Huh?
Sorry to cut you off. What does that mean, non-disclosure state?
Non-disclosure state means that we do not have to disclose what the property sold for. So,
Dang.
I mean, I can say my property sold for $10,000, $10, because I think you got to put a minimum of $10 on there. So I can say that I sold my property for $10 when I actually might have sold it for $210.
Wow.
So as far as what the property sold for, that is not disclosed
Wow.
in Kansas City. So in other words, when you go to Zillow or whatever, yeah, mainly Zillow or whatever software, and if you pull up Kansas City, you're just gonna see yellow dots. That's it. You're not gonna see nothing else. You're not gonna see
Wow.
no numbers.
Ooh, I don't
Now,
like
as
that.
far as what's being listed that's up for sale, you will see the sales amount, but that does not tell you what it's sold for. So you can't go off of that. If you go off of that, you're gonna get screwed because a person can put their house or their lot on the market for 200,000, but it might only sell for 100. Nobody knows. So what I decided to do and to make it a little easier is I tapped into land and I do land virtually. Um, and that's pretty well, that's pretty well much because I don't have to think about it. Like I'm in Florida, North Carolina, and other states in the country. They have numbers, so I just go tap into Zillow, Redfin, PropWire, any whichever platform you're using, and run my numbers that way. I don't have to worry about it here because I'm not even doing it here. I'm doing it elsewhere. That was the way that I thought to get in to the business. I knew that I had a plan as far as firing my boss. So that was something that I came up with that I felt was the easiest way of entry without, dealing with getting a realtor license or dealing with a realtor or whatever. So that's where I'm at with that. Land for me, that's what got me in the game.
So do you go all the way to North Carolina and look at these properties?
Absolutely not. I no. Florida either. Them was my main two states.
That's the benefit of land. I love land. I love both of them because I'm forever do all this stuff. But land, guys, you don't even have to go to the property, man. Come on. You can do all your research from home.
For
What's the
sure.
good tools you use, LaShonda, for your research?
I like Land ID or Regrid as far as doing a due diligence. The reason why I say those two is because when you're dealing with land, you need to know if it's in a flood zone. You need to know if it's got road access. You need to know if it's has wetlands on it. You need to know the topography. If you don't know what topography is when the land is not flat, like the dirt is flat and it's maybe a hill or a ditch or a mountain or whatever, that's topography.
Yeah.
So you need to know all those things because that's one of the things that the buyer is going to ask about, or he's supposed to do his own due diligence, but you still need to know those things so that way when you selling it, you can say, well, hey, this lot doesn't have road frontage or it's in a flood zone or whatever. Because the buyer, intelligent buyer, a builder, he's gonna ask you, even though he's gonna do his own due diligence, he's still gonna test you to kind of see if you know what you're talking about. Because sometimes these buyers out here, if they know that you kind of green, you kind of new, they'll play you. So you
Oh
got to
yeah.
be on your game. You got to know what you're talking about, and they can tell when you don't know what you're talking about. And sometimes they'll use that against you and try to beat you up on the price
Yep.
when you're trying to sell it to them.
So how important is it for the wholesaler or the real estate investor to know all the details about the land?
It's very important. One of the main important things, in my opinion, is you need to know the zoning. You need to know the zoning because you could think you just got a regular old lot and then you selling it for 20, 25. and then you find out that it was a lot that you can put like a mobile home on it, or like a duplex or something like that. If it's a duplex lot, it's more money. Certain land has different values, and so you need to know that. You can't just look at the dirt and just say, okay, it's a residential lot, because it could be, like what I said, it could be a multifamily. Multifamily is a piece of dirt that would allow you to build like duplexes on, or apartments or something like that. That turns it into something else. That's more valuable than just a regular piece of dirt where you can just build a house. So it's important to know the zoning. That's what I'm saying. You have to deep dive into what, even though you're wholesaling it, you still need to know what you got, because you will be upset
Mm.
if you sold that sucker for 20, and then you find out that you can build a freaking apartment on it, and you could have sold it for 80. You don't know that. When you're looking at the map and you're looking at the dirt, it might be lined up with all the other dirt, but you got to know the zoning, because that's what makes the difference.
Big, big, big difference.
Like
Big
Eddie
difference.
said, you can subdivide, you can do a whole lot of stuff. It just depends. You really need to know what you got when you get it under contract. You need to know what you got.
What's some key ingredients you use, like when you comping out your land?
So when I'm comping my land, I normally try to look for other lots that sold. Me personally, I start off with 30 days. I try to go as tight as possible. Um, 30 days, maybe 15 days if it's a lot of comps there. Now, as it sometimes in certain areas, land, you may not find a comp. It might be very difficult to find a comp. I don't use just one platform. I use several. I use PropWire, Redfin, Zillow. I'm using XLeads right now. I have several different platforms that I use. I don't just use one to comp, because what I have found is every platform is different. Some
Yep.
stuff that's on Zillow might not be on Redfin. Some stuff that's on Redfin might not be on none of them. I mean, you kind of have to comp with just more than one source. So the as far as that part, I think that's probably the hardest part for people, because you don't always have land comps. So you have to go
Mm.
off of a house that's being sold in that area if you cannot find a comp. So like if the houses are being built over in that area and they $300,000 or $400,000, normally the builder, he wants to be roughly around 20% in on that. Me personally, I haven't found a builder that was at 20. They seem like they be at 10.
Yeah, that's what they want to be at for real, man.
Yeah, I ain't never had one that was like 20. Never, not to date. I mean, I hear people say that all the time. That's the standard, but yeah. The
They be
only way
trying
you're
to,
gonna yeah, the only way you're gonna find somebody like that, most of the time it's just a regular person.
yeah.
He'll pay that, but a real builder that's building, he normally try to get it at like 10%. So if you um get a lot under contract, you most definitely need to know what the zoning is. And like I said, you want to comp it with all of those different, or two or three different resources. And then, you want to try to find dirt that's right by the lot, just like you do when you're doing a house, same thing. But the challenge that you will run into is you don't always it's not always comps. So you got to go off the houses, what the houses are selling for, and then do a percentage off of the sold the sales price.
Usually about 20%,
That's what they say. I ain't found it.
but you can kind of sell it for, but it's normally they're gonna try to get you to about 10 to 15%
Yeah,
realistically.
right.
So that means your number, you gotta be under there. You gotta be between 2 to 5% to make some money.
Correct. For sure.
Now, when you working out of land, when you working out of state, what's your take on it? We just say it's easy. Just
I wouldn't say it's easy. I mean, the challenge that I face, it really just depends on where you at, what state you in. Like I'm in Florida. I have more challenges with the freaking turtles
Oh God, I
and
remember.
the owls, but mainly the turtles. The turtles will kill your deal. The
Tell us
turtles,
a little bit about the turtles, cause I never even heard that, cause I don't flip land in Florida. So she told me about this. I'm like, what?
yeah, I didn't a couple of years ago, I had like 5 deals that went straight in a row that did not go because of these freaking turtles. They don't call them turtles, they call them something. Tortoise, some
Tortoises.
tortoises. Yeah, it's a freaking turtle. That's what I got. Tortoises.
Wow.
So the tortoises, um, if they get on the land, like say for instance, you get it under contract, because you're virtual, you don't know what's going on with the dirt. You just got it under contract, it's a good deal, blah blah blah. Okay, now when your buyer is interested, and most of the time he's gonna go to that lot, to check it out. And then that's when you will learn that it could have turtles on it. So if it has turtles on it, it's not just one turtle, it could be thousands of turtles.
Whoa.
So in the state of Florida, it costs, the guy told me like $450 to remove the turtle. But the problem is you're not removing one turtle. It might be thousands of turtles
Yeah.
in this pocket. It's like when it's one, is the whole damn family, I guess. So you'll run into that and you won't know until somebody go over there and tell you, because you're virtual, so you don't know. So um when the buyer sees that, a lot of times they don't want it because it's going to cost so many thousands of dollars to move the turtles before they can
Wow.
do anything else. And that's a process. It's $450 per turtle, and it's
Per turtle.
per turtle. Because I asked the guy, I said, well, shit, can't you just go over there with a bobcat and scoop them up and dump them somewhere? He's like, no, you go to jail if you do that. So it's a process.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a process. Same thing with the owls. I haven't ran across the owls yet, but it's a thing. It's certain species in Florida that will kill your deal.
Wow.
So you got to watch out for stuff like that. I mean, it may not be that common. Like you said, Eddie, you haven't experienced that. I think the those deals that I had, they were all kind of like in the same pocket, and that's where that came from. So, but yeah, other than that, the challenge is just basically just getting some solid buyers as well. So me personally, I like to um before I start marketing, I like to market to the buyers first. And the reason why is because when you get a deal, you want to be calling them like, hey, I got this deal on 123 Main Street. Da, 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 da. It makes you feel better when the buyer tells you, well, hey, over here in this area, I'm paying 50 for lots. So you can kind of have that in your head. And so when you go and start marketing, you kind of know, well, if I get a lot over here in this area, I know that Eddie told me he'll pay 50 for it. So then you want to get it, less. It's easier doing it that way because you got the number, the number, and it makes it a little easy when you get the lot, or when you get the lot, then you got a buyer in your pocket. So a lot of times what I'll do is when I'm communicating with that seller and I'm feeling like he gonna go or she gonna go, I'll kind of start communicating with that buyer up front, like, hey, I might be having this one coming up on, I don't give them the address, I'll just give them the street. I got this one coming up on something street. um are you still interested? Are you at 50 somewhere in that ballpark? If he's real interested, he gonna tell you, yeah, if you get it for this, whatever. And then you kind of know. So when you get it under contract, you already didn't put the two pieces together. Not saying that you can't do it the other way. The other way is reach out to the buyers after you get the deal. That works too. But me personally, I kind of like it the other way around. Because sometimes you can lock it up and then you can't find a buyer. Now you got to go back to the seller, um,
Get an
and cancel it.
extension.
That's, yeah, get an extension
Hopefully
or,
you get an extension.
yeah. But sometimes, like, if you get something and then they come back and tell you it's turtles on it and all that, like, I don't even fool with it. I'll just cancel and move on. I mean, it may be something with the turtle thing, but I don't waste my time with it.
Man, watch out for them lots too, y'all, that have creeks running through it. It
Yeah.
was not last year, but the year before, man, we had like 3 or 4 properties under contract. The people, not one time did they say, "Oh, it's a big creek running straight through the middle of the lot." And I'm quite sure somebody talked to them before about that, but they didn't mention it.
Yeah, and then you do have sellers that are dishonest. So another thing that I would piggyback on as to what Eddie said is, as soon as you get that contract, you need to be sending it over to the title company because a lot of times they can do I call it on the surface where they're not really diving too deep where it started costing. They can kind of like my lady in Florida, I could call her and in 10 minutes she can tell me, oh yeah, well this is, I don't see no issues. Now there might be some issues later once they dive real deep off in it, but on the surface they can kind of tell you. Because it has been some times where the seller was not honest about something, and then I get it under contract, send it over to the title company, and 30 minutes they hit me back saying, it's issues or it's a lien, and the lien is way more than what the lot is worth. It's not enough money there to cover the lien, so
Dead
it's
deal.
out of my hands. Yeah. So that's why I say you got to make sure that you when you get it under contract, call the county and verify what you can do with the lot. Because if you get a lot and you could put a mobile home on there, now you running into the Hispanics. They love lots with that you can put mobile homes on.
Oh yeah.
It's like everybody want a freaking mobile home on a lot. They just want to live in the trailer or whatever, but those go too. The lots with the mobile homes that you could put a mobile home on. Because it's like everybody wants a lot. What they want a mobile home for some reason.
A lot of people trying to cut costs now. So you got people moving to mobile homes like crazy, man.
Right.
Mobile homes. Some people, I got a buyer in Hall County. He loved to put manufactured homes on it. So
Hmm.
that's the ones where they put the foundation and stuff, and then they put the house on top of it. So he loved doing that.
Right. So yeah, um, that's pretty well. I mean, it's a simple process. But it could be tedious too, because you have times where you communicating with these sellers and then they acting like they ready to go and then they don't go. Same thing, just like with houses, it's pretty well much the same thing. I just think land is easier, especially if you in a non-disclosure state like me, because that allows me to do all this from my desk without, you know, flying to North Carolina or flying to Florida. Like, yeah, I ain't never even been to some of the places in Florida that I'm marketing to. I ain't never been. Period. And probably don't plan on going. Shoot.
You sure you
I
don't
be
want to
thinking
go
about
see every?
alligators and snakes.
You sure you sure you don't want to go see every lot?
Nah, I don't have no reason to go see no lot at all. That's the good thing about land versus a house, because now you gotta get the keys to the property. If the property has a tenant in there, you're dealing with that. With dirt, you're not dealing with none of that. You can go see it whenever you get ready, or you can just view it on the map. Now, the disadvantage of the map sometimes, like Google, you have to look and make sure the image is a newer image, because sometimes Google is shit. It might be an image from 2015.
I know we just done it last week.
The whole subdivision got brand new houses on it and everything, and you looking at an old
Piece of
20,
dirt.
yeah, piece of dirt, and then the person will be like, "Ma'am, we built our house on it 5 years ago." You be like, "Oh." But then you do have some sellers that when it comes to land, from my experience, you do have older sellers, and some of them older sellers, they not rocking with the virtual nothing. You got to meet with them in person, all that. So if you run into a situation like that, then you're gonna need some boots on the ground, right, Eddie?
Oh yeah. And yeah, like I told them, like I've been telling them, most of your sellers with land guys gonna be elderly. Not all the time, but the majority of the time. That's why I say dealing with land, and that's why we get a higher response rate from mailing. Mailing is costly, but man, guys, just think about people in the 60s and 70s and stuff. They still looking at the mail. They still opening up the mail. Listen, I hate mail. I'm gonna be honest with you. I go check my mail about maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks. So you mail me something, I'm telling you, it's gonna be a minute. It's just too much trash and bulky, man. Email it to me. Something.
Right, right.
But
But
you're
yeah,
dealing with older sellers, so they're gonna check their mailbox the majority of the time.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Any great list you like any list that's turned you on when it comes to, just give me a top two when it comes to land.
Probate and inherited, people that has inherited. That's kind of like a probate too. But them two. A lot of times tax delinquent. That's the other one.
Yeah,
So probate, inherited, and tax. Really, probate and tax delinquent. Because tax delinquent, um, they getting ready to. It depends on the state too. But if you in a state where once you lose it, that's it. And then you have states that have a redemption period. Like here, I think it's like 12 months and all that. But if you get a property, if you get a lot that's getting ready to go up in the tax sale, they got to do something. It's like a foreclosure on the house. They got to do something, or they're gonna lose the lot. So them the ones you want to try to go after, and allow yourself maybe 30 days or 3 weeks or so, something like that, and reach out to them and try to, they got to do something. They got to do something, or they're gonna lose the lot. So, that list right there is pretty lucrative if you can get them on the phone or text them or call them or something, and try to catch them before the auction date. The auction date is real important. You got to know the auction date, because the auction date, when that date comes, if they didn't pay them taxes, yeah, it's gonna be a donor.
it's gonna be a wrap.
Yeah, probate is good, but it's difficult, because depending on what state you're in, and depending on how the probate records are, most of the probate is going to be a lot of houses on there, houses on there as well. But if you come across some dirt in there, most of the time they don't want it. Same thing if they inherit it, they don't want it. So when you have probate situations, somebody didn't died, this person might have had 5 lots, and the sister ended up getting them. She don't want them. She don't live there. She don't know nothing about land. She gonna let it go.
Yep.
So you need to be right there to get it.
Let it go for the low.
Let it go for the low.
I
That part.
love probate, man. That's been my best list, like the top two when it comes to land. Comes to houses too. That's
Yeah.
in the top two.
Yep.
Because these people haven't paid anything. They don't care, man. It's a bill. They got to pay taxes on it every freaking year. That's what most of them stress about. Man, I'm tired of paying taxes. Because
Right. Yeah.
it's just dirt.
Yep.
Get tired of paying the taxes on it.
And then you might get lucky. Like a friend of mine, I have two people that do land that got lots for free.
Whoa. How?
That part. Two. One just got one about a month ago. She just happened to catch the lady at the right time. The lady was an older lady. She said she was tired of paying the taxes on the lot. She didn't want the lot, and she told her, "Baby, you can have the lot. I don't want it no more." That's what she said. She gave it to her. She
Thank you.
yeah, she closed on it, and so she's got it on the market for 25,000. She already then got four hits. So even if it's sold for 15, I mean, she got it for free. She got
When?
it for free. Yeah. And then a male friend of mine did the same thing. He's but both of them is kind of weird because both of them was Philippines.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I said. That was kind of weird, but yeah, both of them. Uh, my male friend got a free lot too from some older man that said he didn't want it and he just gave it to him.
Man, boy, they
I
got
didn't believe it, but it's true. I saw everything. I saw the deed when my girlfriend closed on it, everything. And like I said, she's got it on the market right now for 15, and I think she's gonna get it. So, and she don't even know what she's doing. She just started. She knows nothing. She ain't even been doing land 5 months.
look
Matter of
at her.
fact, I didn't think been doing it like 3. She
Walked
just
into a blessing.
yeah, she's using what's that texting platform? Launch Control. She got it through SMS.
Wow.
Don't even know what she doing. Don't even really know how to conversate with the people or nothing. But shit, she did it.
She doing one major key, taking action.
She taking action. She took action. Um, Text the one list that she been texting the whole time. She ain't never even changed, and that was the outcome. So you do have situations like that where people just don't want the dirt. I've heard of that before, but I had never knew no one personally. But I know two people personally that has gotten land. One got one last year, and then this woman, she just got it, I think, a month ago. That's wild.
What's your average, what would you say the average closing time with your land?
Me, because I have a great relationship, normally within 2 to 3 weeks, unless something's wrong with the title. She's literally closed for me in like a week and a half, actually. But that's not normal. Normally it'd be about 2 to 3 weeks.
What you would say a good average profit across the board would you say for them to expect?
Say that again now.
What would you say a good average profit to expect when you wholesaling land?
It just depends. Every state is different.
Yeah.
Because for me, Florida is totally different than North Carolina. If you get some dirt in North Carolina, especially like in Charlotte, oh my God.
Woo, jumping.
Yeah, them some fat checks. 20s, 30s, 40s, 60s. In Florida, not so much. At least not with infield from my experience. Now I know some of my friends that's doing like the bigger plays where they take it down and do all that. That's we talking about wholesaling, assigning. So when you
Right.
talk about assigning in Florida, I mean each state is different because in
Yep.
Florida my fees be anywhere, my assignments be like anywhere between like 3 to 8, give or take. It just depends. But I haven't in Florida had anything probably past 10 or 12. But in North Carolina, now that's a whole different ball game. I didn't have some 20s and some 30s in North Carolina, but
Yeah,
not in Florida. Not saying that they're not there. I'm just saying like that's been my experience on the assignments.
the hunger is there too in North Carolina. You want to be in the path of growth, man. Where they
Hmm.
building this stuff with some action going on. You want to
Yeah.
make them fat checks. You don't want to be in Buck Tussle, Tennessee, about 8 hours away from the city, man. No, man. Unless you're gonna keep that dirt for yourself, man, you're gonna be waiting on the check a long time. I'm
Right.
calling Mr. Transaction. Yes, hey, you got me buying dirt out here. Yeah, I told you.
Right.
Told you.
For sure. It just depends on the state.
Every state is different.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all got any questions? It's time for you and Sharice to get another one closed. She told me y'all closed one in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
I got
Yeah,
a couple.
nice one.
I got a couple questions. Hey, I don't know if I had your number, Shonda, but I think I sent you a text.
I got your number and I thought I sent you a text, but apparently not because you never responded. But you did have my number because you sent me a lot that the buyer didn't want. I don't know if you remember that. I think it was last year.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I guess shoot me a what's the name a text. So I got lots. I got some lots in Port Charlotte. Then I got a 5 acre plot of land that come with a easement. It's in Milton, Florida.
Okay.
So yeah, I really got I got some stuff, but then I want to chop it up with y'all. I don't know if
I'll put
I
it in
guess
the chat.
yeah.
I'll put it in there for you.
And so I did have a question about Florida as well.
Okay.
Um, and you kind of answered it somewhat because I noticed that as well with the when you're doing the comping with the land,
Mm-hmm.
when you're doing the comping with the land and stuff. Yeah, I just sent you a text.
Yeah, yeah, you must have sent somebody else a text.
Nah, I sent it to you. I got another number.
Oh, okay. I see that. Okay.
Yes, still a 310 number. I just
Okay.
changed that. I changed so yeah. So with the land, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, I know you was just speaking about the average kind of like assignment spread.
Right.
That's typically when you're going after those areas where the lots are kind of like selling in between like 15 to 30,000 or something like
Yeah,
that.
something like
Then
that. Right.
you kind of battling with everybody else that's calling and sending offers in those areas because it's like high volume, and a lot of those owners don't want to sell their land for much cheaper, where you can really get a larger spread.
Right. Correct.
But my question is, do you think that that par- do you think that particular area, those particular areas have basically kind of slowed down as far as the builders and stuff in those areas?
Absolutely not. They booming.
Okay.
That's the reason why the spreads are so low because like we'll take Lehigh. Everybody talks about Lehigh. We'll take Lehigh. Like it's so much traction in there, and we have educated these sellers with this freaking texting. Because when me and Eddie and all of us was texting back in 7 and 18, it was new. I mean I ain't gonna say it was new, but
But it
people
still was
wasn't
fresh. It
yeah,
wasn't a
people
lot of
weren't
people texting.
educated.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
wasn't a
but
lot of people texting in. There wasn't all these platforms out then.
right. So now because they're so educated, because you got so many people hitting them up, and then so many offers are being made, they know that their piece of property is hot and they won't market, right? And so they won't market, like, period, because they educated on how much they land is worth. They know how much they land is worth. If you got 60 people that then sent them text messages or mail and whatever, they kind of know, what the number is. And so
Hmm.
it's difficult. It's more difficult now because those areas are, as they say, saturated, I guess. And
Yep.
yeah, the spreads are low.
Yeah, but they're typically getting low ball offers like from the people that's shooting the texts in the mail, because a lot of them that send mail send the blind offers.
Right.
So my next question would be, are you utilizing realtors out there? Like putting the properties on the MLS?
I do.
Okay. And that's why I say, like, if you got time, I just want to chop it up with you up off of here. Like, I had 5 properties. I put all 5 of them on the MLS, but I think I just had a poor choice of realtor that I use. I got him. I connected with the guy out of a land group, and I thought he was gonna be ideal situation because he was kind of like flamboyant, you know what I'm saying? But that really didn't mean too much of nothing, and I just didn't go look up his profile to see, what he's actually been selling or listing on the MLS. You could check that out. So
Right.
that's something that I wanted to ask you about, if you currently working with realtors and putting your properties on the MLS.
So the way I do mine a little different. I'm not using a realtor in particular. The way I do mine, I use a service like Beckham or one of those services
Speed
that
listing?
will allow you. Yes, that's how.
Okay.
Because from my experience, and it's not everybody, but a lot of times when I reach out to a realtor, um, depending on that realtor, I guess. Sometimes I'll be getting some issues. I'll be having issues with the realtor. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna say this, like I feel
Yeah, they
like
be getting in the way.
because I am a woman, and I feel like because I am an African American woman, sometimes that I feel like I can feel their energy on the other end of the phone. I've literally had some of them ladies be like, well, call me back when you get it under contract. It's like they don't even want to give me the number. Like if I call them to try to see how much is it possibly worth, you know what I'm saying? I try to get an opinion. I'll call 2 or 3 different realtors, and if it's some women, yeah, it don't be
Well, look,
going
you
so
ain't, you
good.
ain't got to sweat that no more because I got MLS access out there in Florida too.
Okay,
Yeah, we just
yeah,
we just need to chop it up. Do you do the drone shots, or do you just go online and get the layout from the Q
Google,
public websites
yeah.
and stuff with the layout and stuff like that? Or do
I
you
haven't
send
done
out to do
I
the
haven't
drone
done the
shots?
drone thing. I haven't done the drone thing because um the ones that I'll be getting, they go so fast that I don't need to do that, but I'm open to doing that if if I get a piece that's got a nice check behind it. But if it's some 2 or 3, 3 or
Oh, okay.
5 or something like that, most of the time, because when they see
Because
it,
it's
they
HO
want it.
lots,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Yeah, you're
But
not
if
dealing
it's
with the acreage and stuff the way you
yeah,
need that above.
correct.
Okay.
Now, when you're doing with acreage, yes, you want to
Yeah.
do a zoom shot so they can see, what they getting. But when it's a little 0.25, 10,000 square feet, no, I don't.
Well, yeah, I shot you a text. I don't want to hold anybody else up if they got questions, and let's chop it up.
Okay,
Like I said, I got the MLS access out there and everything. So yeah,
okay,
let's
cool.
run it.
Shonda, it's
Yeah.
Tasha. We talked last week and our phone call dropped.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. How you doing? Nice
I'm
to meet
doing
you.
good. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me
Uh-huh.
though. It's Eddie's fault. We'll talk about that another time.
Hey, watch it,
He
guys.
just left
Watch
us in the dust. He like, hey, I gotta go. Bye.
it. Man, any
So I
questions,
didn't,
y'all?
I didn't ever know. I heard you say Tasha, but I didn't know that was her. Yeah.
Eddie, you just sound like you do everybody like that, man. You be hitting me upside there sometime, man. What's up with
We're
that,
sticking and
man?
moving, baby. Sticking and
Yeah.
moving.
Dropped the call and he just kept on going. I'm
Sticking and
like,
moving.
hello? Hello? I'm like, dang. He's like, hey, the
I shot
phone
you a
call
text.
dropped. Huh?
I shot y'all a text.
Yeah, I know. I'm just messing
No,
with
Shonda, he said he gonna send me your phone number, and that was what, Eddie, a week ago. But it's all right. I know it's coming.
you. Eddie.
Okay, y'all kicked out the class.
It's all good.
Anybody got any questions, y'all? Man, thank you so much, LaShonda, for blessing us. She's gonna be continue to drop in with us, man. And we go on this land journey. We got so much to learn. So much, because there's so much you can do with that land.
Mhm.
And hopefully we can get around to where we're gonna get into that too, the IOS, industrial outside storage. Where if you get you about a good 3 to 5, I say 5 acres. Get you a good 5 acres of land, man, and they're giving out grants in Missouri. LaShonda, they're giving out grants in Missouri for people to open up these industrial outside storage for tractor trailers. They're giving the money away. Grants, because I'm gonna tell you how huge this is. It's they said 3 million trucks on the road in the US. And it's only 250,000 lots across the entire country. 250,000 lots, and it's 3 million trucks. That means a lot of people don't have a place to park. Major opportunity, man. I missed out on one. For 1.3, the lady was getting 20,000 a month from what's this company name? Some big tractor company. She had a signed agreement because it's so many. It's like you can lease this land now. Once you get it, put the gravel down, put your fence around there, and then put your security cameras up. That's all you need. Lay your gravel, put your fence around, security cameras. Guys, that lot bring in crazy money. But anyway, she was getting 20 grand a month for this land that she developed. She had the trees cut down, all that good stuff. Probably got about 400,000 or 500,000 in the deal, but it's spitting out 20 grand a month minus expenses. Her expenses were 2 grand a month. So she's pocketing 18,000 a month, minus whatever debt she got to pay back. Just say she paying back 5,000 on that 300,000 or 400,000. So she out of pocket the expenses by 8 grand. She's still walking away with about $10,000 to $12,000 every single month. Every single month. I love this business strategy because the overhead is very low. You get these long-term tenants. I think Yancey, yeah, that's their name. I think Yancey. They like got tools and big tractors and all that stuff. So she got a lease signed with them for 2 years for 20,000 a month every single month. Guaranteed money. Guaranteed money. She's selling for 1.3. The only reason she was selling it because she bought a bigger lot, 10 acres, across from one of the biggest freaking gas stations. Have you ever heard of Buc-ee's? It's like a big gas station. Man, it's look
Yeah,
it
we got
up,
a ton of them
Buc-ee's.
in Texas. Hey, them things is huge. They're like a mini mall. It's like an
I
experience
can't
going to
believe
them
how,
things.
man. I've never seen a gas station like that. It's like they giving away free food or something, man. There's a headache going, and I'd be like, what the? And my
It's
daughter
like the
played
Trader
travels.
Joe's. It's like the Trader Joe's of gas stations, huh?
Man, this it's ridiculous, man. There's too many people in there, y'all, all day. People like this. I see at least 100. It's too much activity. My daughter plays travel softball, so we have to pass one a lot of times, and they always want to stop and get some out of buckets. Man, it's crazy. But anyway, she bought one across for buckets for 10 acres, so she sold that one for 1.3 to buy that 10. Man, that thing lasted on. Most people who have these don't even sell them. That's why you can look them up. You'll see a few for sale, but if they're for sale, they're gonna be sky high, or they're not producing. They're in a bad location. You can be in a bad location with these too. You want to be like close to the city. The closer into the city, the more money you can charge. This said you can get 30. I think it's 30 good trucks. What is this? 15 to 20 trucks per acre. Something like that if you rent it out by the truck. And then each tractor trailer got to pay you anywhere, if you closer into the city, about $300 per slot to keep their vehicle. So it's a cash cow, man. It's a cash cow. You can set it up electronically with auto debit, how they pay. It's a beast, man. It's wide open. So hopefully we can get together, get us one put together. Somebody get some nice land close to the expressway, kind of in the suburbs, close to the city. by the expressway, man, no further than a mile. Let's make some money, man. Let's develop it, because that's big opportunity that you can keep going across the land doing. Keep the same business model. Pow, pow, pow. Mess around, be the Walmart of truck stops. Any more questions? All right, I'm gonna hit y'all with this quote from my guy Joseph Murphy, and then we out of here. Thank y'all for joining me tonight, man. Next Wednesday, don't be late. I'm gonna quote. Let's see. Oh yeah. So this is from one of my favorite books, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. The power of your subconscious mind. And if you don't know what a subconscious mind is, you definitely got to get to the self-help and self-development, because it's major, man. I wouldn't be here today if I want to change my mind. So it's all mental. We got to work on that mindset, man. Like for real. This is like how you go in the gym to lift weights to get bigger, or you walk on a treadmill to lose weight. It's the same with your mind. When you reading books and listen to self-help stuff, it's like you're doing push-ups in the gym, or you working out in the gym. You're working that mind out, getting it stronger and tougher. The subconscious is like the multitude of habits that we paradigm. The subconscious is where all the old programs, well, not all the old programs and new programs, but it's your subconscious mind. It's the seat of habits, all habits. Everything we do is habitual every day. We usually brush our teeth at the same time, go to the bathroom at the same time, drink coffee around the same time. Those are habits. So we got good habits and bad habits. And we have to work on reprogramming the bad ones with the good ones. So here's a quote from my guy, Joseph. Oh, I like this one. Just keep your conscious mind busy with the expectation of the best. Just keep your conscious mind busy with the expectation of the best. You know, in society, we've been trained to think about the worst. No, man, think about the best. And you'll get the best the majority of the time. Ooh, well, these some hard hitters today. Let me say this. Damn, I need to print these out. The only path by which another person can upset you is through your own thoughts. You got to choose to be offended. Somebody cuss you out, it's you. It's up to you if you're gonna respond or react, or you're gonna brush it off like nothing happened. But the more we think about it, especially in a bad way, you're gonna get upset. Oh, I know this mother didn't just cuss me out. You feel like that, they got you. So we got to choose to be upset, or choose to let it offend us, whatever they say. Ooh, the law of life is the law of belief. The law of life is the law of belief. And this is the last one. I'm gonna let y'all go. Man, I just said that two times ago. This is the last one for real. Every thought is a cause. Every thought is a cause. And every condition is an effect. Change your thoughts and you change your destiny. Change your thoughts and you change your destiny. That's 100% true. Thank y'all so much, man. God bless y'all. Let's get some deals closed. Peace and love.
Thanks,
Tasha,
Shonda.
Tasha, check your message. I sent it
Okay.
in the chat.
Yeah, I got it. I got it.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thank y'all, man. Have a wonderful evening.
All right, fam. Thank you.
You too. All right, all right. Shonda,
right,
hit
thank
me
you,
when
LaShonda. Thank you,
you get
Eddie.
free.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Shonda.
Oh, wait, is that